all. So today we'll see types of systems. Okay. So as you can see, there are basically two types. Hmm. Uniprocessing and multiprocessing. Uniprocessing means when only one processor is present. Okay. Whereas multiprocessing means when more than one processor is there. Okay. So what is uniprocessing? See, with the help of example, let's see what is uniprocessing. Means we already studied only one processor should be there. Okay, that is one processor will be there, and so let's suppose we are having three processes. Process you already know, right? Program under execution. Okay, program under execution is known as process. Okay, so suppose you have a one whole program, there can be many processes for this same program. Okay, so let's suppose there are three process P1, P2 and P3. And what is this 30? See, it requires 30 unit of time for its execution. Got it? We in this 30, for fetching of this process 10 units of time is required, and for decoding it, decoding means what? Actually you would have studied a computer organization. Okay, so you would be knowing what is fetch, decode and execution. Fetch means to fetch or access or read the process. Okay, what is all about. And then decoding means what kind of instruction is, or what kind of process is, means what it has to do. Then execution part, what the ALU operations will be performed in the execution part. Okay, so each process required overall 30 units of time for its completion. 10 for fetch, 10 for decode and 10 for execution part. Okay, so we have P1, P2 and P3. Okay, and all the three processes are requiring 30 units of time. Now when we have only one processor, how the processor will be doing or will be processing these all process. See, initially this is called as the Gantt chart or the timeline. Initially time will be, clock will be 0. Now see, process P1 is started execution. Now it is a uniprocessor, means only one processor is there. So what it will do, it requires overall 30 unit of time. So it went to 30 units of time. Now P1 has been executed. For P2 also 30 units of time required. P2 is done, and for P3 also 30 units of time. So at what time all the three processes would be completed? At 90 unit of time these three processes will be executed. Got it? So this is how uni programming works. See, in uniprocessing, this one is uniprogramming. Uniprogramming means doing one process at a time or one program at a time. Okay, so this is called as the uniprocessing. Now next is multiprocessing. In uniprocessing we next is multiprogramming. How it is done? Multipro First see the you have known the concept of uniprocessing. Now see the concept of multiprocessing. That is the this part, this one, multiprocessing concept. Okay, just see this part. Multiprocessing means when now here more than one process will be available. Got it? Multiprocessing means more than one process or two or more processor will be available for the process to be executed. So, and in this scenario or in this we can have parallel processing also. Why? Because we have multi-processors. Suppose we have three processors, then process 1 was requiring 30 unit of time, process 2 P2 was requiring 30 unit of time, and process 3 P3 was requiring 30 units of time. So we can execute them parallelly. Overall, what is the time required for their execution? Only 30 units of time required for all the process to be finished its execution. Got it? How? Because they are going to be done in parallel mode. Got it? Next one is multi-programming. Okay. So what is multi-programming? See, this is also a part of what? Uniprocessor. Okay. Means single processor will be present in multi-programming. But how we do multi-programming? Why the name is called as multi-programming? We'll see now. See. Here you see, let's suppose this is the memory or main memory where all the jobs, these you can say jobs or the processes, these all are the jobs or the processes which are present in the main memory, and one of the process from the main memory will be one of the process from the main memory will be assigned to the CPU for completion of its work. Let's suppose job 1 is assigned. Okay, now let's suppose job 1 requires any IO operation or IO service. What is IO service? Any kind of input output request or service which is required for job 1, like keyboard press or anything, whatever it is. So mouse click, anything. Like we do the programming where we required the input from the user. At that time the IO services are required for that program to be executed, because there is a requirement of the function of the keyboard so that it can take it. Okay, so these are the this is the example of IO services which are required for the programs. So let's suppose job 1 is requiring some kind of IO service here. So job 1, this is IO devices related work is there. So job 1 will be went for the IO operation completion. At that time it will be moved to the, it will go to the completion of the IO operation. Okay, at that time CPU becomes idle. Then what happens? At the same time operating system will do what? It will assign job 2 in the idle time of what? CPU. Got it or not? See, what basically is we are doing here is, initially in the memory there are many jobs or the many processes, and one of the process is assigned to the CPU for the execution. Now whenever, see what we mean, see let's suppose there is job 1, what its completion of execution means, it should complete CPU time plus IO time. It should do both the task, then only we'll say the job 1 is completed or finished its execution. So while sometime it was doing the CPU execution, now when it requires the IO service to be done, it went for the IO service, and that at that time CPU became idle. So when it was idle, so what OS did, what operating system will do at that time, it will take one of the job again from the memory, and it will assign to the CPU again. So this is how it is called as the multi-programming. At the same time, see, more than one job are finishing their execution. So that is why it is called as multi-programming or multi-programmed batched system. Got it? This is how it works. Now one question you might think, how the operating system is going to select the jobs from here, on what basis? This everything is called as comes under the CPU scheduling algorithms. There are many algorithms for the selection of the job from the main memory for the operating system. We will be covering this later one by one, like FCFS, first come first serve, then we have SJF, shortest job first, shortest remaining time first, and many more. Long round robin is there. So many scheduling algorithms are there, so we will be taking at that time. So I think you got what is multi-programming here. Now one more thing, another type of system is multitasking system. Got it? So what it does, so this is the example which is shown to you, that is example of multi-programming. See what actually you would have studied the pipeline in the computer organization. This is how it is shown here. See what happened here. Three processes were there. Initially it required fetch, decode and execute. Everyone was requiring 10 units of time. So process 1 has done the fetching time and went on to the decoding. When the process 1 is went on to the decoding part, it means process 2 can be fetched at that time. Got it? And when the process 1 is executing, it means process 2 can be decoded at the time, and at the same time process 3 can be fetched. So this is how you do in pipelining also. So overall time which was required in multi-programmed is 50. So this is one of the example which is shown to you, and can have many examples you will see later when we will study the scheduling algorithms. Okay, so I think you got the concept here. Now next is multitasking. What is multitasking? See what happens. Let me remove this. Let me explain here itself. What happens in multitasking is, one of the process will be scheduled to the CPU. In the CPU, let's suppose this is the CPU and job 1 is assigned to the CPU. Now it will be assigned with a particular time bound. Got it? Multitasking, it is assigned. Let's suppose it will complete 2 unit of time first and then go back again, and then job 2 will come after 2 units of time. It will do again for 2 unit of time, it will go back, then one of the process will be scheduled, it will go back in assigned to the CPU, then for that particular unit of time it will be executed, then it will go back. So by the help of this, what we can have advantage is, there is no starvation occurs. What is starvation? Let's suppose one job 4 is waiting for forever and it is not getting the chance to be scheduled for the CPU. Got it? So by the limit of the time quant, we can resolve the starvation problem. Got it? So this is called as the multitasking. Actually multitasking is an extension of multi-programming. So I think now everything is clear to you. So basically what we have covered, see, we have uniprocessors, uniprocessing, we have uniprogramming. Uniprogramming is also called as batch operating system. Got it? Next we studied multi-programming, and next we studied what is multitasking. It is also called as time sharing mode. Got it? Okay. Next we also did multi-processing. Okay. Now next is real-time operating system. What do you mean by real-time operating system? See, let me show here itself. Real-time operating system. What is real-time operating system? The system which are, let me write, system which are strict, deadly, time bound. What it means, if the time bound is given, it should be followed very strictly. It means even micro or nanoseconds will be counted here. That is why it is called as real time operating system. When we the examples which come under is satellite launching. In launching of satellites, micro and nanoseconds are also counted. Now it also have two types: hard real time operating system and soft real time operating system. Soft real time operating, in soft real time operating system we can have the banking system software. Banking system software, there what happens, minute delay is accepted, but in satellite launching no delay should occur. It is called it comes under the hard real time operating system. So I think you got the concept of the types of system. Okay, so this is done. So this is called as time sharing operating system. This is multitasking, which I have already explained. You can go through it. So got it? This is the lecture of types of operating system. Okay, thank you all.